Gam Ganapataye Namah. Om Saraswatye Namah. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Let us take in Shivashakti in 5 deep breaths. Om Shivashakti Om. 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 Tvam Brahma Srishtikarta cha Tvam Vishnu Paripalakah Tvam Shiva Shivadonantah Sarva Samharakarakah Tvamishvaro Gunatito Jyotirupah Sanatanah Prakriti Shascha Prakrita Prakriti Paraha Nana Rupa Vidhata Tvam Bhaktanam Dhyana Hetave Yeshu Rupeshu Yat Pritihi Tat Tad Rupam Vibharshita. So, in the last shloka in the previous class, we studied about the 8 attributes of Buddhi, the intellect. Sushrusha, Shravana, Grahana, Dharana, Uha, Apoha, Artha Vijnana, and Tattva Jnana. Among these, the last two, Artha Vijnana, that is modification and compiling, processing and grouping, classification, because of which one gets the secular knowledge. So there is Bahutva. Opposite of that is Tattva Jnana, where one gets the knowledge of the very source of the whole manifestation, which is Atma, Atma Jnana. So these two attributes are contributing in our spiritual progression in its own way. In spite of these 8 attributes, Maya, Mahamaya, she really disturbs and changes a human being's and individual's understanding of the whole world, who I am, what is Ishvara, what is the relationship. Everything is muddled up. So that Mahamaya is very intricate, yet very strong in her hold on the intellect. Because of that, we go through so much of misunderstanding, illusory world taken as the reality, hanging on to the world which is transient as though it is eternal. All these things are happening on buddhi because of that Mahamaya. In Maya Panchaka, Shankaracharya beautifully puts it. Maya is that which makes the impossible possible. Got it? It is Maya, Mahamaya, who makes the impossible possible. So we are all under the grip of that Mahamaya. That he explains in the next 1 or 2 shlokas. Yatha buddhi shuktam rajatamiti kachashmani mani jale paishte kshiram bhavati mrigatrishna susalilam tatha deva bhramtya bhajati bhavadanyam jadajano mahadevesham tvam manasi chanamatva pashupate. With misapprehension, how buddhi perceives Shakto Rajata, looking at the seashell as silver. They perceive silver in the seashell. And then Kachashmani Mani. And a glass piece is perceived as diamond. Jala paishte kshiram bhavati. And a water mixed with the white flour is mistaken as Kshira, the milk. It's all because of the delusion. Mrigatrishnasu salinam, and mirage is perceived as water. Tatha, in the same way, Deva Bhrantya Bhajati Bhavadanyam Jadajano, the ignorant people perceive other than Shiva, who is Parabrahman, the pure consciousness, as Deva, Deva Bhrantya, misunderstanding, mistaking it, all other things as Deva, the divine. So what does it mean? Shiva, the pure consciousness, is eternal, all-pervading, and it is blissful. Parabrahman. Only that is eternal, whereas the ignorant thinks all other things which are manifested in this world as Deva. Mahadevesham tvam manasicha namatva pashupati. And they don't think of you, who is Mahadeva, the Lord of all Devas. Not having in their mind, they utterly get deluded and they run behind what is not eternal, what is transient. They are deluded, just like perceiving mirage where there is no water at all as water, and they run behind it. Shuptav Rajata, because it is shining like silver, they mistake it as silver. And the white water prepared with mixing up the white flour and the water, they think that as the Kshira, milk. In the same way, how can anyone mistake being deluded of thinking Mahadeva as everything else? So here Shankaracharya is highlighting the Adhyasa. Adhyasa means by delusion, superimposing something else as the reality. So the whole world, what we are experiencing, is Adhyasa. It is superimposition on the pure consciousness. That he is highlighting here. We can understand here through the story also. Deva Bhrantya. How is it possible? For a person who is a singer, for them, voice is the main thing. They think that is the divine. And they take care of it and they are concerned about it. For a dancer, mind and body, both are important. So, mind and body becomes a strong hold on their life. So, they are taking that as divine, Deva. And they run behind taking care of it. Money. Because they think money is the only thing which will make us live in a good status in the society, they run behind it. Or power. People run behind the power. because they want the power, they also go behind the divine, which is ready to give that power. And gaining the secular knowledge. For that, they sweat and put full effort, taking only that as the divine thing. So by this, what happens? We are limiting our own horizon in taking all these things as the Supreme Mahadeva. It's not. All these are instruments for us to perceive, to use the benefit of all these objects and other gods which are ready to give us those powers, the wealth, knowledge. They're instruments for us to go beyond and seek that Mahadeva. Mahadeva is Mahadeva, which is consciousness, pure consciousness. There's nothing beyond that. So, supreme is that Mahadeva Shiva, which is pure, blissful consciousness, which is eternal. Through that eternal consciousness, the whole manifestation has been created. So when we understand this, the delusion will start melting down. When we understand, we know we have to have the goal of realizing, experiencing, be one with, in constant connection with that Supreme, which is Mahadeva. So, Mahadevesham Tvam Manasicha Namatva Pashupate. Because he is Pashupati, that consciousness is the one which is the Lord of the whole being. Because of the consciousness, I am working as a Jivatma. Because he is Pashupati and because he is Mahadeva, who has given or created all other gods who are all manifested, they can't be equated. So one has to go towards Mahadeva, who is Pashupati. The ignorance, it goes to any extent. Shiva, even when we take it according to Puranas, Shiva is very, very different from what Prajapati had created as society. Because Shiva's way of conducting is connected with only auspiciousness, justice, dharma, compassion. Nothing else matters to him, to Shiva. Prajapati built the society and the mindset of the subjects in such a way that running behind the power, money, wealth, all secular things which are needed to live in this world is important. So praying for all these things with devatas are very much allowed and encouraged. Whereas Shiva is way beyond this set of society. So we see the difference. I will tell you one story. In Kashi, one lady wanted to go into Ganga and have a dip in the water. And she had only one pot with her, brass pot. Because she didn't want to lose it, she inverted it and put lots of mud on that, which took the shape of linga. And she put one flower on it so that she will be able to recognize her pot is there. Another woman who was seeing this thought, this is the way one should pray before they go into Ganga. So she also prepared the same, and she also put the same kind of flower. Looking at this, all other people also started doing so many inverted pots, which looked like worshipped linga. When that lady came out, she could not recognize her own pot. She was lost in that. So this is also Deva Bhrantya, being deluded, believing in what they see, not realizing what it can be. I will make it more clear by telling you another story. A person was looking and staring at the hill without moving for such a long time. Slowly, the crowd started gathering around him, and they all thought, what is he looking at? What is he waiting for? Whom is he praying? So they all started gazing exactly like him, thinking that he is praying, and so they also started praying. After a lot of time, one of them asked the person, what are you looking at? Whom are you praying? His simple answer was, I had thrown one stone on the hill and it did not return back. So I was wondering why it is not yet returned. So I'm waiting for that stone to return from the hill. And all people got very angry at him, abused, and went back. This is another kind of Deva Bhrantya. So what here we have to understand is one should have the faith, bhakti, with jnana in it. That is real bhakti. That can come only when all the three, karma, bhakti, jnana, are interwoven and made strong within the sadhaka. गभीरे कासारे विशति विजने घोर विपिने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थं जडमतिः समप्यैक्यं चेत सरसिज मुमानाथ भवते सुखेनावस्थातुं जन इह न जानाति किमहो. This is also a beautiful shloka where he makes our mind open, think, go beyond, come out of the limited view. Make your horizon much broader. Gabhire kasare vishati vijane ghora vipane. this Jadamatihi, people who have the intelligence which is ignorantly veiled very strongly, Jadamatihi. They go to the deep forests, to the deep lakes to collect the flowers of different kinds, esoteric, rare flowers. The two Vijane, the forest is so thick that no human being enters there, but they venture in to go to that thick forest to bring the rare flowers. Kasare, Gabhire Kasare, in the deep lakes, they go and try to fetch the lotus. Vishale Shailecha Brahmati. And they go in search of the flowers to Shaila. Shaila means you can take it as hill or the mountains, which is vast and wide, to pluck the flowers which are very rare and esoteric, to collect those flowers. They do all these things. Samarpyaikam. There is one flower. Chetah Sarasijam. That one flower which is so precious. It is the mind as Sarasija, the lotus, which is born in the lake of consciousness, which is very much within. Why can't these Jadamati offer that flower which is most valuable and which is within? And that too, it is from the pure lake of consciousness, the mind, the lotus mind, which is very much within. O Umanatha Bhavate, to you, O Umanatha. Sukhe navasthatum jana ihana janati. Kimaho. What a wonder. Kimaho. What a wonder. People do not know that by offering this lotus, which is mind, one can stay sukha, in happiness, isn't it? They can stay in happiness once they offer this lotus at the feet of Umanatha. So, more than the flowers which we bring, the two plucking from the Prakriti, we take so much of effort to bring the flowers of different kinds to offer it to the God. But when we are doing the puja or while doing the Sahasranama, we offer the flowers. The mind will not be concentrating on every word, every nama which we are reciting and while offering the flowers. Mind will be somewhere else. The hand will be doing its job. Is it of any use? Instead of that, Anthakarana is a vast garden which has very beautiful, rare, unique flowers of virtues in the garden of Anthakarana. Which are they? Satya, truth, ahimsa, non-violence, shama, equanimity, dhyana, meditation, tapas, austerities, kshama, forgiveness, indriya nigraha, the control on senses, sarva bhuta daya, compassion towards all beings, all living beings, shanti, the peace. These are all the flowers of virtues which are grown in the garden of Anthakarana. Why can't we offer them? The gardeners normally say you have to pluck the flowers so that we get many more flowers. But somehow I'm not for it. I don't feel like plucking the flower from a plant because it belongs to the Prakriti, the plant, and the flower belongs to that plant. And when people walk around, it is giving so much of happiness to so many of them. Instead of plucking it and bringing it inside and putting it on the idol, instead of that, leave it on the plant. It belongs to Prakriti. And what is the greatness? I didn't make it grow. It is the Prakriti, the plant, which has made it blossom. So plucking and putting it, somehow I don't mind. I mean, it is not in my mind. Whereas, more we pluck the flower of Satya, the flower of Ahimsa, naturally it encourages us to become more Satya oriented, more Ahimsa oriented. Isn't it? So that is beautiful. That is beautiful. That we can keep offering again and again, again and again. So when the flower which we are offering from the mind is filled with Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. And if we are offering that mind as lotus, because if I have to call that as lotus, mind as lotus, the mind should have the qualities of the lotus also, which is purity, non-attachment, and beauty. With all this, if the mind is offered, the whole being would have become Pankaja, isn't it? Then one can say, Pankajaham, I am Pankaja, I am the lotus. Tava Pankaja Charane, at your lotus feet, Swam Samarpayami, I am offering my own self at your feet. Then we can sing that. When we go to Manasarovara also, we see so many people doing homa and many other things and making the place which is not conducive for homa and many other things. Because the nature itself is so pure, one has to become one with that pure nature and offer our mind as lotus to the whole Kailasa. That we don't do. Because Jadamati, which makes us think the other way. Gabhire kasare, vishati vijane hora vipine. So we have to understand here, when the mind goes deep into the worldly things. It is like Ghora Vipina only, thick forest. Gabhire Kasare. When the mind goes deep into the worldly things, not seeing the real value of the world and not keeping Shiva in the mind, when it goes deep into this samsara, it is like Gabhira Kasar, the deep lake. Vishala Shaila. We go high in the skies as though we have ascended the Parvata itself when we are successful. And there we will be roaming. Brahmati. Isn't it? When we compare it to our own life. That too, why? To seek Ananda. Ananda is also Kusuma. That Ananda Kusuma is very much within, with so much of fragrance in it. But we are searching outside. So even that we should be able to offer it to Shiva. Sukha Makila Matmarpana Drisha. In Lahari we studied. So that Ananda Kusuma, that is also within. That also we have to offer to that Shiva who is supreme Brahman. Here it says Umanatha. Umanatha. Uma is the one who got that name because of her austerity and tapas to have Shiva as her Natha. That is one. In Shiva Sutra, it says Ichha Shakti is Uma Kumari. Ichha Shakti is Uma. So Uma represents that Ichha Shakti. Also, one whose Ichha, the mind is filled with that willpower to be continuously in connection with Shiva. That mind, that willpower in mind is also called Uma. And he's Natha. He's the Lord of the Uma. Because he's the Lord of Uma, Lord Shiva is Om. Uma, all three together. Uma. U, Ma, A. The same three. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya are there in her name as well. So Uma Natha. Offering the lotus mind at the feet of Umanatha is like worshipping both Shivashakti, who are taking care of the whole being. It goes to them. So don't go in the outer world seeking the flowers. It is very much within. Offer that and become one with Shiva. Naratvam Devatvam Nagavana Mrugatvam Mashakata Pashutvam Kitatvam Bhavatu Vihagattvadi Jananam Sada Tvat Padam Padabjasmarana Paramanandalahari Viharasaktam Chedhridayamiha Kim Tena Vapusha. Naratvam, Devatvam, Nagavana Mrugatvam, Mashakata, Pashutvam, Kitatvam, Bhavatu, Vihagatwadi Adi Jananam. Be it in the form of Nara, that is human being. Even if the Janma, the birth or the form taken as the human being, or be it Deva, the divine being, or be it the Mruga, the animal living in Naga, the Parvata, that is the mountains or the hills, Vana, living in the forest, Mashakata, the mosquito, even if one takes the form of mosquito, or Pashutva, any animal, Kitatva, any insects, worms, Vihagatwadi, that is birds, and any other forms as Jananam, taking birth in these bodies. Sada Tvat Padabja Smarana, when all the time, continuously, when the mind is totally engaged in the smarana, in meditating on, in remembering, in chanting about your Padabja, Tvat Padabja, about your feet, which are like lotus, Paramanandalahari, which gives extreme, supreme, blissful waves in the mind, in the Anthakarana to experience. Vihara Saktam, and one who loves to be roaming in that Padabja, which is giving so much of Paramananda. Che Hridaya Miha Kim Tena Vapusha. What is there with the body or the form or the birth they have taken? So, what does it mean? If one's mind is totally involved, totally engaged in remembering, in living the Padabja, the lotus feet of Shiva in the mind all the time, which is oozing with Paramanandalahari, the waves of Paramananda, supreme bliss, is coming out of that lotus feet. And if one is constantly roaming in that mindset or in that living experience, what does it matter what the body is? Be it Nara or Deva or a Mruga, which is in the mountain or in the thick forest, or even if the birth is of a worm or an insect or a bird or anything else, what does it matter? We have so many Puranic stories in this. Gajendra Moksha, that Gajendra, he had that form of an animal, elephant, Like that, we come across many other great devoted souls in different kinds of body. So here he's taking us one more step. And if we look at it in a holistic way, this shloka also says that Shiva, the Supreme, belongs to each and every one. Shiva is not the asset or property or belonging to any one set of people or humans or devatas. No. He is beyond all and he belongs to all. So, whatever janma you are taking, he is there to be with us in the form of Atma, the consciousness. Isn't it beautiful how it opens up the mind? So, only devotion to Shiva is what it matters. Naratva, being born as a human being with humanly qualities. So what does it mean? If one is having the body as human being, but without the humanly qualities, is not a total human being. A being in the form of human body. So whatever it be, Naratvam, Devatvam, being born or having reached that Devatva. For example, Parvati, she was a human being, but she attained that status as Deva Parvati to the extent of becoming the better half of Shiva, Ardhangi of Shiva. So Devatva, be it that Nandi, Hanuman, they're all the examples, Kamadhenu. Even in Ramana Maharshi's ashrama, there was one cow, Lakshmi. She was also considered very divine, and her behavior, everything was divine. Devatva. Kitatva, Pashutva, Nagavana Mrugatva, Mashakata. These are all the qualities which are the characteristics shown in the beings in different forms. We can also understand why they have put, Shankaracharya has put twa, twa, twa. He didn't say naram, devam, pashum. He's saying naratvam, devatvam, pashutvam, mashakata. What is that? Twa, twa, twa. It is speaking about the characteristics or the status. Let us take the example of Naratvam. A human being in the form of human body with the qualities of humanness, then it is Naratva. Or it can also be human being having different qualities of all other things. He is a human being, but he might be having Pashutva in him or Devatva in him or Mashakata in him. Like a mosquito, he will be sucking the blood of others. Like Devatva, maybe he's like Parvati, who is raising to the level of Deva. Or like the insect, Kitatva. So even though he has the human body, he might be having all these qualities in him. Even then, it doesn't matter if the mind is filled with that Shiva, then it doesn't matter how he is in the body. Vapu will not matter. Because Sadatvat Padabja Smarana, that is important. That should be keep going. It doesn't mean that one has to be sitting in front of the idol or in front of the linga and keep on chanting, not doing any other work. That is not the thing what he is telling. Whatever we are doing, whatever actions, whatever thoughts we are having should be connected with that Shivatva. So, we will be carrying on our daily routine, but Shiva is the pillar. That is the focal point from where all other actions are going out of this body. Whatever we are perceiving is also through that Shiva, which is true. That is the actual, real happening fact in all beings. But we don't realize it. We don't experience it like that. When we are perceiving through all the five senses, it is the consciousness which is perceiving. If the consciousness is not there, the five senses will not be perceiving anything. In the same way, whatever we are giving out through karmendriyas, even that is happening because of the consciousness. So, however we take, Shiva, the pure consciousness, is the one who is doing the whole leela of this world. So, we have to experience it. We have to realize that is possible if we cultivate and make it as part of us, that Shiva Smarana of his lotus feet, which make us become one with Shiva. That is important. And also, Shankaracharya is standing in front of Kalahastishwara, Sri Kalahastishwara. You know how he got that name? There were spider, Sri. Kala is the snake. And Hasti, the elephant. All these three animals, the spider, snake, and the elephant, they were showing their bhakti in their own way. This Shri, the spider, used to offer the silky web created by its own self. The snake was offering the gem which it had on its foot. And the elephant used to bring water for Abhisheka, and it used to do that. One day, the elephant, while washing the, doing the Abhisheka of the Lord, it washed away the gem of the snake. Out of anger, the snake bit the elephant. In that fight, this spider also got in between, and it was also, it lost its life. And of course, the elephant, because it was bit by snake, that also died, and it had stamped the snake. So all the three died. Out of compassion, Shiva took all the three into his own divine aspect, and he took the form as Sri Kalahastishvara. So here also we can see how, even though the bodies of the three souls were of different kinds, the spider, snake, and the elephant, the mind was only towards showing the devotion towards Shiva. And they attained that mukti, liberation. Vihara saktam chedridayamiha kim tena vapusha. And it is not just once doing it. One has to vihara. One should keep roaming. So people who have already performed the mandalas of Lahari mantra, they can understand it. Once we start doing the japa, even though it is repeated 1,000 times, the whole 24 hours, somehow or the other, it will be ringing in the mind, even though we are doing many other work, the daily chores. So like that, even here, the mind should do the vihara, not I recited these many times, I'm done with it. And rest of the time, the mind becomes worldly. That won't help. The whole day, it keeps ringing. Even at midnight, when we wake up, the mantra or the smarana of the Padabja of Shiva will keep coming again and again. That is vihara. That is important. And it happens once we have the real bhakti, the real love for it. It will happen. Vihara will happen. Vaturva gehiva yatirapi jativa taditaro naro vaya kaschid bhavatu bhavakim tena bhavati yadiyam hritpadmam yadi bhavadadhinam pashupate tadiyastvam shambho bhavasi bhavabharam chavahasi. So in the previous one, Shankaracharya talked about it can be any janma. Now he is telling about it can be any ashrama. One can be in any ashrama. But once yadiyam hrit padmam yadi bhavadadhinam pashupate. Oh Pashupate, once that hrit padma, the lotus of heart, is totally under your control, when it is totally surrendered to you, tadiyastvam shambho bhavasi, that person becomes you. See how beautiful. Not only that, you become that person, and bhava bharam cha vahasi, and you take care of bhava bhara, the bhara, the responsibility of that person's samsara, that is bhava, as his existing jivatma. So that means what? Vaturva. He can be a vatu, brahmachari, whose mind is totally involved in acquiring the knowledge, becoming a person capable of taking care of himself and the society. He should become the useful participant in the society. For that, he is getting prepared as brahmachari. Gehiva, one who is at home as grihastha, or yatirapi, one can be sannyasi, wandering sannyasi, or jativa, one who has the matted hair. He could be a householder in forest, jati, that is vanaprastha. Taditaro narova, or he could be none of these ashramas, but maybe he is something else in between. Yah kaschit bhavatu bhava kim tena bhavati. What does it matter in what ashrama, how he is, when once his Hrit Padma, that lotus of heart, is offered and brought in the control of you, O Pashupate, Tadiyastvam Shambho, you become that person. You make him totally your own self. Not only that, you take the Bhavabhara. When we give the full control to our false I, ego, how much trouble we go through. We try to seek the solution. We face the problem. We won't be able to come with some solution. Then also we go through the difficult time. And the mind is churning, bhara. But once we offer the whole heart to that Pashupate, whose job is to take care of us, just offer the whole being to him. He will take the Bhavabhara. So it's a beautiful one. It gives us confidence. Only thing what is needed is whole surrender to that Shiva, who is pure consciousness. So we have to understand, have the knowledge, and offer. He is there to take care of. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you offer yourself, you surrender to me, and you are sure to reach me. Once we reach Krishna, there is nothing else. He is the one who will take care of the Bhavabhara. And that Krishna is none other than Shiva. He is Shiva. He is Krishna. That is Sat Chit Ananda. One has to surrender to that Sat Chit Ananda. One more thing what I would say is, offering the heart and all those things. When we have so much of love towards Shiva, automatically a person would feel like meditating. He feels like sitting and meditate or contemplate. It happens automatically. And also, whatever actions we are doing, somehow or the other, it will be connected with that Shiva thought. So, when that Shiva, Shiva, Shiva thought comes, it slowly opens up the mind to realize that mind is vast and it grows as the whole universe. And all inclusiveness comes. And then the jnana also reveals from within. Intuitively, one gets the understanding that mind is different and there is something else higher than the mind. So the mind will start becoming smaller and smaller as it recognizes that something beyond, something beyond. And as the sadhana goes deeper and deeper, we realize that consciousness is the third circle. In the three circles which I have shown you many times. In that consciousness, the second circle within that third circle is the projected mind. And that projected mind, which is the whole universe, in that I again project myself as a very limited, very, very limited Jivatma, the smallest circle. So, Bhakti in Shiva leads us to know Shiva in the real sense, and one will be hanging on to the jnana of knowing what that Shiva really is. How can I show bhakti to him? What is it? So the whole experience of Shiva Bhakti becomes within. Everything is within. That understanding comes. That is possible to understand when we read many of the compositions of Shankaracharya, because he gives out that secret in a beautiful way and he really guides us. So Shivanandalahari is the one which is telling us, guiding us how bhakti can be nurtured and have it as the constant guiding star for us to go towards that experiencing Shiva, which is Shiva Jnana. So, Guhayam Geheva Bahirapi Vaneva Drishikare Jaleva Vahnoam Vasatu Vasate Kim Vadaphalam Sada Yasyaivanthak Karanamapi Shambho Tava Pade Sthitam Chedyogosau Sacha Paramayogi Sacha Sukhi. I just love Shankaracharya. He is giving out the information, guidance in such a beautiful, poetic way that we are able to understand and try to go in the same path what he is showing us. See how beautifully first he tried to take out the notion that one has to study all these things. One has to perceive things with logic, Tarka Shastra, that there's different kinds of secular knowledge. All those are not so essential. Have the Shiva Bhakti first. And then he also showed how one goes wrong being deluded in understanding what the reality is. So even there, he is giving us the cue. Now he is telling ashramas are also not a big deal. Even the birth, what body you have taken is also not important. Only thing what is important is that Shiva Bhakti, Shiva, that Shiva itself is consciousness that once we understand, once we want to experience it, realize it, and continuously being connected with it. We are connected, but we are not realizing it. We are not experiencing as such. So for that also he's giving us the cues. Guhayam, gehe. It can be in a cave. If a person is in a cave, geheva, or he can be bahirapi vaneva. Let that person be outside in the vana, the forest, for his sadhana. Adrishikhare, maybe on the high mountains. We do here in Himalayan mountains, there are so many caves. Innumerable sadhakas, great sadhakas are doing their sadhana, tapas. So, Adrishikhare, Jaleva, or let him be in water. Vanhava, or let him be in the fire. Vasatu vasate him vadapalam. What is the great deal about it? What is the great benefit of it? Sada yasyevantah karanam anthak karanam api. When his anthak karana, Shambho tavapade, when continuously, sada, all the time, when his anthak karana is at your feet, tavapade, sthitam ched yogosau sacha paramayogi. That person, sthitam, one who is stably seated in that pada, that person is for sure the yogi, one who is in union with Shiva. Such a sukhi. Not only that, that yogi is the one who is a real sukhi, a person with extreme happiness, the bliss. So what he is telling here is, for doing sadhana, there are so many different ways in which people try and they go in those paths. Guhayam gehe. Guha is cave, or gehe at home, or it can be in the forest. they go in different places because they are all conducive for their tapas, for their sadhana. So they go there. Where is the necessity for all those things? He can be in the Himalayas or any Shikhara, or he can be doing the Jalastamba. That is another way of tapas. Being in the water for a very long period. That is another type of tapas. Agnav, in the fire. That is also Panchagni tapas. Having the fire around, they do the tapas. So like this, various sadhakas follow different sadhanas. They want to become yogi. Yogi means becoming one with that Shiva, one with the self, one with that supreme self, which is Parabrahman, Atma. When a person's anthakarana, Shambho, one who is auspicious all the time, Shambho, Tava Pade. Here, Tava Pade means at your feet. The auspicious feet of Shiva is one thing. Another meaning of Pada is in the status as Shiva. In the mind, the state of mind being totally occupied with Shambho or Shiva. Shivapada means the mind in the status of Shiva. Shivapada, the feet of Shiva. So it has both the meanings. So when a person's anthakarana is deeply in that Shivapada, Shambho's pada, sthitam, not only just touch and come out, no. Sthitam, it is firmly there. Che yogosam, indeed, it is the yoga. Because the anthakarana is already in the Shiva pada, in the status of the Shiva. It is already fully involved with the lotus feet of Shiva. And he is the real yogi. Such a Parama yogi. Not just yogi, Parama yogi. He is the ultimate person who is in union with Shiva. Isn't it? So, there is hope for all of us. All of us. The only thing needed is that strong connection with, continuous connection with Shivapada in our anthakarana. So that such a sukhi, that person is the happiest person. Because whatever thoughts come, it has the tinge of Shiva. Whatever actions he does, it has the tinge of that Shambho, the auspiciousness, Mangala. So the success is there. In every action, there is success. So what else is needed? It is Parama Yoga. Isn't it so encouraging? By looking at all the previous shlokas, we can also understand on the whole, if we see as a review, if we look at all the shlokas, we can understand that all these scriptures, Upanishads, the information what we get is like the ready-made food. It gives us instant energy, and hunger is also taken away instantaneously. There is another way. When the karma of doing puja every day or doing namaskara to Shiva every day, or having some kind of daily routine connected with Shiva is there, or singing a stotra on Shiva, that leads us towards having a kind of connection with Shiva, which develops as love for him. And that love for him makes us give more focus, concentration, our mind towards Shiva, which is Bhakti. And that Bhakti further blossoms as, I want to experience Shiva. I want to realize Shiva. That opens up the door of jnana, that is experiential knowledge of that Shivatva, which is Atma Jnana. This is like preparing the food from the scratch. Do you understand? The instant, highly processed food is one thing. They have already prepared it, processed it in Upanishads and Vedas and all other scriptures. It gives us instantaneous happiness. In this type of walking, we are enjoying every stage of the whole process, and then comes the aroma of that Shiva Jnana. So we are enjoying every step of it. Not only that, we have the chance to customize according to our taste, our understanding, our possibility, capacity, environment. So, Shankaracharya is giving us the insight how one can go with the normal way. I would say normal way because most of us are not studying the scriptures as it should be studied. We can do something or the other through that itself, as Shankaracharya says, by keeping Shiva in Anthakarana, making him the strong hold. One can grow, one will grow, one should grow. So it's a very, very positive way of encouraging all of us to follow. Asare samsare nija bhajana dure jadadhiya Brahmantam mamandham paramakripaya patumuchitam madanyah kodinastava kripana rakshati nibunah twadanyah kovame trijagati sharanyah pashupate. The first step one can take towards anything is understanding what I am, what is my capacity, where am I, what is my, right now, what is my mistake, what is it, who am I, where am I standing. If we understand that, only then we can take the next step. In Hanuman Chalisa, Tulsidas, he puts in the Doha itself. Buddhihina tanujanike. Understanding that I am buddhihina. I am requesting you to give me buddhi, vidya, bala, also dehu muhi. So if that understanding itself is not there, I know everything, I am the most powerful one, I have every power to do everything. If that is the thing, I am putting a wall around me and I will never proceed, because the reality might be totally different. So, asare samsare, in this samsara, which is without any essence or real taste or real stuff, substance in it. Asare samsare, nija bhajana dhure, jadadhiya. Being totally ignorant and away from being one with you through bhajana, through worship, through praying, through praising you. I'm not doing it. Brahmantam mam andham. And I'm just roaming around blindly. Parama kripaya patum uchitam. Shambho Pashupati. It is only right for you to protect me. The two with Parama kripaya, with immense compassion. You have to protect me. Madanyah ko deenastava krupana rakshati nipuna. Who else is there more deena than me? Deena means who is very miserable, helpless, at the lowest point of existence. Deena. Who else is there other than me, whom you can support? Kripana rakshati nipuna. And you are the one, the expert, nipuna, in protecting the kripana. Kripana means, again, one who is deena, one who is poor, miserable, helpless, devoid of judgment, and who is also miserly, pitiable, wretched. Kripana has so many meanings. In protecting that, you are the nipuna, you are the expert. Twadanyah kova me trijagati sharanyah pashupate. You are the one who takes care of all all living beings. Other than you, in all the three worlds, who else is there to protect me? So, Shiva, it is only correct on your part to show immense compassion on me, who is really downtrodden in this asare samsare. At least I'm saying asare samsare. That much knowledge I have gained through experience, that this samsara is asara, without any real substance in it. I know it is so illusory, so temporary, transient. But still, because I am going towards that, I have become jadadhiya. My mind, my intellect has become numb with ignorance. And because of that, nija bhajana dura, I have gone too far away. In Lahari, Davi Yamsa, he uses the word. One who is far away from you, the divine. So, one way of leading life is like the shloka which says Japo Jalpa Shilpam. The whole life is an offering, a puja, a worship to Shiva. The whole life. That means every thought and action is offered as puja to Shiva. Then this won't be like Asara Samsara. It will be like Ananda Sagara. The other way is to live like Nija Bhajana Dura or Davi Yamsa or Jadadhiya, Jadamatihi. Then it becomes Asara Samsara, in which we struggle, go up and down so many times. So here samsara means the repeated cycle of birth and death and birth and death. That is samsara. Not the colloquially what we use. Samsara means the married person with wife or husband, children, and a daily routine which is connected with the outer world. It goes beyond that. Repeated cycles of birth and death is samsara. So buddhi, yukti, siddhi and mukti, these are all possible only when there is grace of Shiva, which is consciousness. His grace, his compassion, the two Parama Kripa should be there on us so that we can use buddhi, yukti, siddhi, and because of which there will be mukti. So, Brahmantam Mam Andham. Here, Andha refers to that Antardrishti Vihina, one who doesn't have Antardrishti. That means understanding what the reality is. When we have the holistic understanding of what this world is, what are all there in this world, what are these objects, what are these people, what is this relationship. To understand that, we need antardrishti so that we can aim to have the yoga with that Shivananda Parabrahman. If that antardrishti is not there, as well I am andha. Even though the physical eyes are there, it is used in the wrong way because that antardrishti is not there. So, what we can understand from this shloka is one has to have the knowledge of why I have taken this birth. What is the purpose of this birth? What is the ultimate purpose? Which is realizing I am that Brahman. For that to happen, I had to be in constant connection with Shiva. For that to happen, I have to have bhakti, fill the whole being with Shiva. So unless that happens, there is no chance for us to enjoy what we really are. So one has to have that connection with Shiva. So for that, Shankaracharya has given so many shlokas, tackling it from different aspects and saying those are all not needed. Only Shiva Bhakti is what needed. The connection with that Shivatva is what needed. Okay. Shivashakti, 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 Om. Shivashakti, 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 Om. Shivashakti, 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 Om. Shivashakti, 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 Om. Shivashakti, 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 Om.